Hey, this is Eric Davis. I want to show you a little bit about Node.js here. So basically I was trying to make a to-do list server using a JSON API and kind of a RESTful design. Once again, it took about an hour, so it's time blocked. I couldn't actually finish it, but here's the server I got. Actually, I'll show you. So test.rb is just a little script I wrote that uses curl. So you can use git. This is basically the list. And you see there's a couple items on the list. And it's basically just using a flat file, so the identifier is actually like what line in the file. So that's the first one, second one, and I'm showing the HTTP headers from curl. That's what the extra content is. And so the third, and then if I go over here on the console, you can see, servers running, node server, that's it. I'd actually decided to do all the development using Vagrant in a VM just so I don't have to mess with my main system. It actually works pretty nice. The only weird thing is Node's running on port 8080, but it's proxy to 8088 on my system. So it's pretty neat. Show you that real quick. The Vagrant file. So, where is it? So right here, it's forwarding the port. And the nice thing about this is I'm actually doing all of my development here in Emacs on my main desktop, and all of these files are actually shared across through Vagrant sharing to the server VM, and it's just running the server script. So anyways, back to the API here. So we can also do a post one. So we can do post to the root, and then we'll pass in a JSON file here. And, simple status, content, nothing much to it. What that'll do is, 200 added. And then if we go back to actually listing, you can see it's a new one on the end. So pretty simple. The actual code took a little bit for me to go through Node's documentation, and really the only thing I could find was a hello world and then their API docs, which was kind of overwhelming. So I'd actually go someplace else to get like a tutorial. You can see line 24 here. This is the bulk of the server. It's basically just using a nested if block just to see okay, what request is coming in. I think Express or something does more Sinatra style routes, so that'd be pretty nice to try out later. But right here, if it's a get and if it's to the root, then you're basically listing. And like I said, this is just a flat file. I'll actually show you. So all the to-do items are just in here, and as you can see, this is the first line, second line, third line. And so the get the root is basically just reading the file and then dumping it out. Seems like basically there's Node uses write head, which is for the header, and then response in, which is the end part of the response. I'm sure there's a couple other functions that will actually stream data, but this is all I actually use because it's just a basic synchronous type app. And then right here, this is all of the if you're getting an actual single item. So, has to parse out the ID just using some regex on it. Reads the file, and then it just splits it into chunks based on the line, finds the line, returns it, or renders a 404. Nothing too fancy. Post, which would actually add. Had to use add listener. I saw somewhere someone was saying that sometimes Node will get data as it's coming in, and so it's taking JSON as the input, and you actually want to wait for all the JSON to appear on the server before you try to parse it out. So I use add listener here, which is basically just collecting all of it. And then this add listener, I think what it's going to do is it's going to fire at the end once all the data is in there. And so, like I said, it just parses the JSON. Line 58 here just sets a default status for it. And then here's a conversion from the JSON object into an actual to-do item, which is just status, just a single character, space, the content, new line. Ends it to the file, and then sends back the headers. So pretty simple. Parse ID just gets the ID part using the regex, nothing fancy. And then finally render 404 just, writes a 404 message. So that's it. Looking at the bottom on my comments, I actually didn't get to do the put, which would actually update a to-do item, and I also didn't get to do delete. But I think I actually had maybe under 30 minutes of actual development once I got the VM set up, compiled Node, did the hello world, and made sure everything was testing. So pretty good. I mean, it's not like you can't really compare a stock static node to Rails, but if you're actually going to add on stuff, like I saw the Express framework seems to be adding on a lot more Rails-like stuff, and there's a couple other frameworks I'm probably going to give a try and see what I can do. But that's my thing of Node.js.